Georgia Tech basketball has had an extremely rich history of talent and success, having 5 conference championships, 2 Final Four runs with one ending in a championship game appearance, and several NBA players that went on to have very successful careers. However, this success has not been replicated basically since 2010. Before 2010, Georgia Tech was making the regular tournament appearances as well as having large success in terms of recruiting. Constant high school talent such as Thaddeus Young, Derek Favors, Chris Bosh, Jarrett Jack, as well as a history for fantastic point guards such as Jarrett Jack, again, Mark Price, and Kenny Anderson. And this really has not been replicated since. Since that 2010 season, Tech basketball has one tournament appearance with a 1 conference championship, as well as 2 NIT appearances. However, there has not been any consistency in the program since that 2010 tournament appearance. Brian Gregory was clearly not the answer, and while Josh Pastner brought a little bit more consistency within the program, he was not able to take it back to the elite level they once played at. Let's hope that as a program, Damon Stoudemire brings us to that level once again. The first thing that stands out about the hire is the fact that the team fans he previously was a coach or assistant for that did not say thank you for taking him off our hands, like it was with Brian Gregory and Josh Pastner. Huge Celtics fans as well as NBA fans are complimenting Tech on a fantastic hire, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. While his record at the college ranks doesn't show out at all due to it being 71 and 77, I attribute this to the fact of before he had to build that program from the bottom up, as shown by his record before the COVID season, being 23 and 10 in a conference with the likes of Gonzaga and St. Mary's. His resource pool will be much larger at a program like Georgia Tech, as well as already having a connection to one of the players in the program. Stoudemire has known point guard Kyle Sturdivant since he was a baby, and previously helped him through a lot of the rough patches he had at the beginning of the season. The coaching style will not be much different than that of Pastner's, with Stoudemire being a very defensive-minded coach, and previous assistant under Pastner at Memphis. However, the offensive system will be drastically different. There will not be as much reliance on offensive centers as there was in Josh Pastner's Princeton concept offense, and the guards will have a lot more offensive freedom, making it a lot more fun to watch. For a team that finished the year shooting phenomenally, spacing is going to be a huge part of the offense, and I believe players like Davon Smith can flourish in this type of offense if they're given the right role and adjust accordingly. It allows for playmakers like him and Sturdivant to drive and kick, which they have been so good at during their time in Atlanta. Miles Kelly and Lance Terry provides very solid shooting from the outside, and Debo shows flashes of being the best player on the court. He just needs to find that consistency. Now, the issue with the current roster is the lack of center depth and that of a consistently performing center. Rodney Howard can play a big man with very little offensive responsibility and still be serviceable. But apart from that, there's not one other center on the roster. With Rodney's foul trouble issues, Stoudemire will more than likely have to find another center, whether that's in recruiting or in the transfer portal, both changing in drastic ways since Damon Stoudemire's last stint in college coaching. Stoudemire has to do a better job in his own backyard once he gets on the recruiting trail. The state of Georgia has been a breeding ground for basketball talent as of late, with the likes of Jaylen Brown, Colin Sexton, Anthony Edwards being top guys in the NBA, as well as the current number 1 point guard in the country just right in his backyard with Isaiah Collier, who took an unofficial visit to Tech, and that's pretty much all there was for the recruiting for him. The talent Pastner recruited was 100% there, and he was finding some gems, and others that just didn't pan out at all. Miles Kelly and Mike DeVoe were fantastic recruits for him, but the likes of Saba Gigi-Berea and Jordan Mecca and Tristan Maxwell showed flashes, but there was no signs of anything really there. Stoudemire has also said all the right things, and it does not seem at surface level just saying the right things and not performing on that action like it was in football with Jeff Collins. He believes in his guys and also wants to find the right guys for the program, rather than guys that are wildly talented and don't fit into his culture that he wants to build. Now, that shouldn't be confused with he doesn't want talent, but you basically understand what I'm saying. He wants to get guys that are talented and would do well in the system, which is what you want in a college coach. Now, I'm an extremely optimistic person, but that's just who I am. I believe Damon Stoudemire can be the right man for the job. The news of this hire just kind of hit everyone by surprise. Just a random Wojnarowski tweet that just popped up, and Damon Stoudemire is being hired for the Georgia Tech job. And I respect that it was a quick search for a new coach, but due to the speed of it, you can heavily question if he's the right guy. Jay Batt was a guy heavily involved in the background of basketball at Alabama, and look how it's turned out for Alabama. Now, due to academics, I don't know if Georgia Tech can replicate that level of success or become an athletic powerhouse like he wants to, like it was at Alabama. but I really, really hope that we can get there. J-Bat has been super, super busy since he got to Atlanta and is potentially making moves to better the future of these programs and take them to the next level rather than sitting in mediocrity, which the football and basketball programs have been in since Stansbury took the AD job, the previous AD job at least. Now, the overall question is, where does this leave Georgia Tech's basketball program? It puts it in a super, super interesting spot, in all honesty. What Pastner left behind was a culture that built phenomenal young men and players, but was super unappealing to watch. And so it just kind of kept the same community around this Tech basketball program. Nobody's really left, and nobody's really come in. Now, that's just because of really no adjustments on the offensive end, and he wanted to stick to his way, and it couldn't make that next jump. But I believe with the experience of Stoudemire in the college game, at least building a program from the bottom up, as well as different spacing style offensively that we see in the NBA, which is drastically different to college, and much more access to analytics and analytically driven coaching, which is a huge thing in the NBA right now and allows for the success of teams like there is. We just have to give him a little bit of time. Not necessarily time to win, and we shouldn't be surprised if he wins in his first few seasons, but we have to give him time to get the right guys. And if he doesn't win, we shouldn't necessarily be shocked. Give him like 2 to 3 years, get his guys in that he wants in. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to kick guys out. That doesn't seem like who he is right now, but he's going to bring guys in who help build the program and is the right fit for the program. It just might take some time before we see what Damon Stoudemire can really build. And I'm really hoping we can take that next step. So yeah, thank you for watching. This is just kind of the state of Georgia Tech basketball and Georgia Tech athletics for the most part in a whole. I believe J-Bat's making fantastic moves, and we just got to see where it takes us. Please subscribe. I'm super, super close to 100 subscribers. I really want to hit that milestone before the end of the month. I'm going to be talking more college basketball as March Madness has gone on. I already have some videos planned, what I can do for throughout the week. So yeah, that's about it. See ya.